Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be one subject that some people are going to not want to watch and some people are going to find fascinating. If you have exotic animals, you have dealt with mealworms. Mealworms are what they call darkling beetles, is what they're from. And there's a life cycle to these guys. Early on, when I had gliders and hedgehogs, the gliders and hedgehogs love mealworms. And I have little lizards outside that I feed mealworms to. Bluebirds love mealworms. Mealworms are the easiest thing in the world to grow, honestly. They cost a lot in the store. I think tried to buy 50 one time. It was like $4. I mean, come on. They are not messy. They're not stinky if you take care of them. At one time, I was shipping them all over the United States. I mean, they propagate really quickly. They don't require a whole lot. A couple of plastic bins and some wheat bran. I mean, I started with a little 3-drawer system where you had like the drawers that you keep your papers, like copy of paper in. And I cut and put screening in the top one. I mean, you can YouTube that. That system is where I started with oatmeal, and then I graduated up. There's a couple of life cycles I'm going to go through with you. In front of you, you're looking at the mealworm. This is what you buy in the store. And then they turn into pupa. That's what this little group is here. And there's a life cycle. They're staged in here a little bit. Same thing in here. You notice all the different color beetles. And then they lay the eggs that start over again with this, that go to this, that go to that. So their life cycle is continuous. When you buy mealworms at the store, turn you around here, zoom in on this little pile right here. They're going to be about this size right here. You keep them in the refrigerator and they kind of go into a dormant state. They'll stay in the refrigerator for weeks, absolutely weeks. You have to make sure they don't freeze. And every once in a while, take them out, let them, get warm, throw a carrot or something in there for them to rehydrate and put it back in the refrigerator. There's a lot of different ones in here. They've got the little tiny guys. See this guy right here, that's the C shape? He wants to kind of stay in that little slow motion dormant. He is about to become a pupa. That's when they become, or he's about to shed his skin. This guy right here, who is white, just shed his skin. So he is about to, his shell will harden and he'll look like these guys over here. Let me show you an up-close picture of one of these dudes. All right, these little guys only have feet on the top half of their body. Is that not weird? And they have little mandibles that they chew their food with. They chew that grain. They don't bite. Mealworms do not bite. All right, here's some pupa that I've pulled out. This little guy right here and this one just shed their skins from being this guy, right? It'll split their shell down the back, their skeletal support system there, and they become this. As they begin to harden, they turn different colors, and they are in different stages, and you think they're dead, but if you mash on them a little bit, let me show you. If I squeeze this guy, watch his tail. See, he's alive. You're supposed to be able to tell if they're male or female by their tail. I can't get it to focus. They have one little tip. It's a male, I think. If there's two, like, okay, you can see this one. I'm not gonna move the phone. There's two. See, there's two. I believe that's going to be a female. And this guy looks like he will be a male. So that's how they say you should be able to sex these guys. All right, this one right here is just about ready to turn into a beetle. You can see his features, you can see where his legs are going to be. They are alien looking little dudes, aren't they? Look at that. Isn't that neat? Okay. So when they shed their skin, when the mealworms shed their skin, it's like a snake. They leave behind these, they're called castings. And you have to clean their bin of these, and I'll show you in another video how I do that. Now let me talk about these guys. I pulled out some different stages. Okay, so we went from, say, this guy. He will split his skin down his back, and he will morph into one of these. This one right here, I believe, is the one I found is probably the youngest in this group. This guy right here is going to be the oldest in the group. And like I said, they're called darkling beetles, and they like the dark. And they're not real smart. They'll stay on their back until they die. They cannot right themselves. It's really odd. And they'll depend on somebody else to run over them so they can right themselves. Just watch, see? They have to be right next to somebody or something to right themselves. It's like, help me! Oh. Of course, being on a glass dish doesn't help. But anyway, isn't that fascinating? All right, I've pulled down one of my little bins. This is where the beetles live. I have in the bottom a substrate of wheat bran and all of these little tubes and things. You're gonna notice they're covered in eggs, so we don't throw them out. We just put them back in here every time we clean. Here's a banana peel. They love banana peels. I mean, these things are easy. There's some little cabbage I threw in there and a couple of carrots. And you can see they're all up in that carrot eating the moisture, getting they're self-hydrated. They love these tubes. So I had thrown I don't know what that was, a sweet potato. See, they were underneath there. But they don't like the light. They'll run. And then, as with everything you have, they run up in the corner to die. Like I said, their life cycle is about 5 weeks. I will try to keep these bins about every 4 weeks. I will sift these guys out and put them in some fresh bedding. The reason I do that, if you let it go further than that, as the worms mature and you're cleaning these bins out, you have a larger worm as opposed to the smaller worms, and then you can't clean what they call the frass, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. And you get the size of your worms are too different. So you want to make sure you keep the same group of worms. Every 4 weeks, clean the bins out, set that substrate aside and let them mature in that. And then put all this back, because this all, see, we've got adult worms in here. And that's going to happen too. I usually just pick them out and keep on going. And it doesn't hurt that those guys are in there. They'll just live in there until they turn into a beetle. But what they will do is they'll feed on the eggs that are laid on all of this stuff if you're not real careful. But yeah, this is just a little tote, a little clear tote. They cannot crawl out. And what I usually do is I write on the end the date that I need to remind myself to clean all this out, move that substrate. You don't strain it. You just move that substrate into another container and let it sit. And it's going to have debris and stuff in it, and that's fine. I'll show you. It's a great day to do this because this bin needs to be clean. And it's hard to explain this unless you have one that's ready. Remember I showed you where they shed their skin? Well, this is full of that across the top because these are growing worms. These are the ones that came from the bottom of the beetle bin it's been about a month. So I have mature worms in here, and I have little tiny baby worms in here also. I haven't fed them in a couple of days because I want them really hungry when I change out their bin and strain out the frass and the trash and put them in something new. I'll put them some brand new carrots and that kind of stuff. They love apples. Try not to do apples too much in the summer. We get those little black flies that I can't stand, and they get in here and I can't get them out. So we try not to do much fruit in the summertime. Wintertime, I don't have any problem with that. Watch when I blow this, you'll see the skins move. See how I do that? So what I do is I take this outdoors and I take a lid to one of those other bins and I fan it, and they just fly right out. Let me move some. I'm going to get real close. I'm going to move some of this around and explain to you. This is not grain anymore. They have chewed on this and eaten this grain and pooped enough. This is called frass, and this is basically that real fine stuff right there. That's going to be mealworm excrement, okay? And you don't throw it out either. You go put it in your flower bed around your yard. It's good fertilizer. Here's a worm that's about to, he looks like he's about to shed his skin. See how he's real slow. And then I have some, these are, because all I did was move the content from the other one into here and didn't move it. And look at there, there's a lot of them in here. See how it moves? But like I said, this is before I clean it, so I will show you when I'm done. Ah, they go everywhere. All right, this is the bin. This is what I call my feeding bin. These are adult worms that are beginning to morph into a pupae. I keep this egg crate here. To me, the ones that crawl up on the egg crate are always either about to turn into a pupae or they're just older worms. This is where I usually grab the ones to feed from. I don't need a whole lot of pupae. I keep enough pulled out to keep my cycle going. Okay. So what I do is I just bump them off of here. They love these meal cartons thing. And we got a lot going on in this one. We have, let me grab my pins here. We have pupae everywhere, and I'll need to pick these out. And what I do is I usually just set another little bowl in here. And I find this very therapeutic. I know it's crazy. I will just sit and pick, and I usually just use my hands. I am not scared of these guys. They don't bite. They don't smell bad. All they do is live and eat vegetables and fruit. I mean, we have a whole lot going on in here. We even have a new baby, a baby beetle. Where'd he go? They don't hang on very well. Anyway, again, we have a lot of, oh, see in this corner? I threw a piece of bread in here last night. See them all over here eating? That little piece of bread, they chasing that around. We have dead beetles that moved over here with them. That hurt anything. We do have some loss sometimes. They die. And as long as you don't have a huge die-off, and there's a couple of them in here that are dead. And we even have a guy right here that's about to turn into a beetle. See, he's got his dark, he's got his legs. But I will clean this out again. These guys are living in basically just frass, and this is just probably a week ago I changed this out with wheat bran, and they've already chewed it all up. And this is all now just mealworm excrement.